Okay, so let's just put it so I can see what I'm doing. That's a good start. Right, okay, check you've got space around you, make sure you've got room to move your arms, bring them up towards the ceiling, and just find yourself in a nice comfortable position with your feet. So we're going to take our awareness down to our feet first of all, and you're going to think, where is your weight? Check you're not leaning more onto one side than the other. So bring yourself into the center of your feet. You can start by just taking your weight onto one leg and then bringing your weight onto the other leg, and just gently take your weight side to side. Make that movement smaller and smaller until you're sure you've got equal pressure going down through both feet. Okay, I'm just going to leave the feet there for now, and what I want you to do is just stand nice and tall and relax your shoulders. Think about, as you're standing there, basically trying to stretch your neck. Obviously, you're trying to think about lengthening and separating each of the bones through your spine. So imagine somebody has grabbed hold of the top of your head and literally just trying to pull you out, like stretched on the rack, a little bit taller through the spine. Okay, and the more you can feel your head lengthening and stretching up towards the ceiling, the more your shoulders are starting to sink down towards the ground, but without actively recruiting them. Just get the feeling that the shoulders are just drawing down towards the ground, and your arms are getting heavier down by your side. Okay, so from here we're going to take our focus to our breathing. Okay, just normal breathing for you, but take your awareness to your breathing and just see where your breath is happening. So are you breathing a lot through your chest, or do you feel the breath is coming right down into your ribs? Okay, so don't change it, just be aware of where your breath is actually, where it's working for you. Some of us are very much chest breathers and it's just this bit. Some of us are quite good and get the ribs to start to engage straight away. Okay, so just have a think about where the breath is going for you. Okay. Now, if it's already coming down into the ribs, we're going to try and exaggerate it a little bit more. But if you are a chest breather, we're going to try and draw the breath down a little bit deeper, so we're getting the ribs to really engage. So imagine you've got a balloon between your on the inside of your rib cage, and as you breathe in, that balloon is expanding and drawing the ribs out. So take a nice deep breath in and slowly breathe out. Okay, a few more breaths in your own time. Really draw the air in and really think about those ribs expanding. If it's hard for you to visualize what's happening and feel what's happening, put your hands onto your rib cage if you feel you need to. And you can feel your hands being pushed away if your hands are there. If not, keep your hands by your side. Just really think about those ribs drawing out. And then slowly just the ribs just ease their way back in again. Okay. Now, as you're doing this, last bit of the focus of the breathing, take attention to what's happening through your tummy. So the bit underneath your tummy button, basically. And what we're going to ask is it coming forwards and backwards, or are you keeping it relatively still? So for this part of the breathing, what we want to do is try and keep this nice and still and make the movement even more exaggerated through the ribs. So take notice what you're doing first of all. So really think about blowing that balloon up between your ribs and just take notice what's happening through your tummy button. Is it drawing forwards and backwards, or is it maintaining a nice still position? Okay, if it's moving, just recruit the muscles just a tiny bit, just to secure it, and really exaggerate the movement coming out through the ribs. Perfect. Okay. Now keep that movement with the ribs. If you're breathing quite deeply, just shallow the breath a little bit more so you're not doing too deep breath. I don't want anybody passing out while we're standing there. What we're going to do now is start to bring the arms in. So we're focusing on that movement through the ribs. As you breathe in and you're blowing that balloon up, at the same time we're going to bring the arms up, which is going to exaggerate the ribs movements. Breathe in, bring your arms up, and breathe out, let the arms sink down. Good. Breathe in, let the arms come up. And breathe out as you come down. Perfect. Good. We'll do two more like this. Really focus into what's happening at the ribs. Breathe in, really expand those ribs. And breathe out, let the arms sink down. Good. Last one. Breathe in. Draw the ribs out and breathe out. Let your arms come down. Perfect. Good. And from here, just start to circle your shoulders. Really draw them up towards your ears, but without sort of really, don't try and let your neck sink down. The whole time we're thinking long through the neck, so lengthening through the spine and then rolling the shoulders. Okay, good. And we'll get all those crunches and clicks and grindy bits. That's fine. As long as it doesn't hurt, it's absolutely fine. Just keep those shoulders circling and try and get those circles bigger and bigger as you do that. From here, we're going to take your hands onto your shoulders. Okay, and we're going to start one arm circling it around. So we're going to try and get a bigger movement now. Trying to draw the biggest circle you possibly can with your elbow. Let's see, good. And then onto the other side, big circles with the other elbow. You should be able to get a little bit bigger circle now. So we're going, when we bring both arms in, it's going to become a movement through the spine. So what we're going to do is taking it backwards. It's like backwards kayaking. Okay, so one elbow, then the other elbow. So we're allowing this twisting movement to happen through the spine. Okay, so that's it. Take it backwards. Really allow your spine to move. Although we want to think about the pelvis. The pelvis got to stay facing forward, so we're not twisting through the knees. If you allow your pelvis to move as you're doing this, it puts pressure on your knees, and knees don't like to rotate when your feet are forced on the floor. Okay, that's going to give you irritation right through the padding of your knees. So keep your hips facing forwards and just allow the pelvis, just allow the spine to move. Okay, let's have a go going forwards. That's it, good. So this way we're just really getting the shoulder blade to move around your chest wall. That's it, good. And again, just trying to keep your hips still. Super. Good. Let your arms relax. Let them go down by your side again. We're going to take one leg in front of the other. Okay. So one leg forwards, one leg backwards. Don't take too big a step because you'll get a little unbalanced, and it's more about fluid movement for this one. So what we're going to do is take the weight from the back foot onto the front foot. As you go forwards onto your front foot, the heel comes up. Let me show you from the side. So we're going to do from here. We're just going to roll forwards, stretch through the back foot. So you're pushing your toes into the mat, get that stretch through your foot, roll yourself backwards. Grabbed hold of the top of your head and lifting you up. We're still getting that rotate through. The more you come forward, really push your toes. So you're getting that nice stretch through the plantar fascia on your toe there, and then roll back onto your heel of that front leg to get a nice stretch up through the back of the connective tissue through the back of your leg. There we go. Okay. And we're going to swap onto the other side. So change your feet round. Not too big a step again. Okay, same again. Roll your weight forwards onto the front leg and lift the heel and then roll back. There we go. Lift, stretch through the foot. If you don't feel you're getting too much of a stretch, you can take your foot a little bit further back if you need to. Certainly for the coming back here, you might want a little bit more of a stretch there. But remember, it's just the warm-up. It's about fluid movement and just getting a nice gentle stretch through the legs and the foot. Perfect. Couple more. Okay. And then we'll just come back to center again. Okay. So feet are hip width apart. Think about that placement of your feet again, so that you're not too much on one foot or the other. You're nice and central on your feet. Think about the placement forwards and backwards on the foot, so we've got equal pressure on the balls of your feet as you have onto your heels. Okay, and from here we're going to take it down into a very little squat. We're not going too far down, we're just moving through the knees and ankles. So as you go down, it's up, pivot through the hips, little bend and come back up. What I want you to do with this exercise is to use your hand on the low part of your back. So you're putting your finger on the top part of your pelvis and your thumb comes up your back, so it's reaching up as high up through the spine as you can. And from here, as you bend into your little mini squat there, your thumb and your finger should stay the same distance apart. If you start to lean forwards too much, you'll feel your fingers separating. And if you arch your back, you'll feel your fingers coming closer together. So the aim is to keep the same distance between your thumb and your finger as you do this. So as you're coming down, it just makes you just stick your bottom back a little bit more. So as we're drawing the bottom back, if you just drop down, you end up flexing, and therefore your fingers are separating. And if you stick back too far, then your fingers will close together. So just think about keeping those fingers, or your thumb and your finger, the same distance apart. Okay, so we'll keep doing that movement. When you've got it and you know that your finger and thumb are staying the same distance, then we're going to start to bring the arms in. Okay, now watch what happens with the arms, because the temptation to bring the arms in is the temptation to arch too much. So think about where your finger and thumb. Say that quickly. So here we go. That's it. Draw the arms up and come down. So same rules, as you're raising your arms up, make sure your neck's staying nice and lengthened, and you're not drawing your shoulders up towards your ears. A little bit of an extra squeeze at the top, draw the shoulder blades together. We can just do a little pause. So come up to the top, little pause, squeeze the shoulder blades together and lower them back down again. Raise the arms, squeeze and lower back down. Fantastic. Couple more. Really think about where your finger and your thumb would be on your back. Make sure you haven't started to arch. That's it. Good. Last one. Perfect. Good. Shake your shoulders out. Let your arms relax. Okay, we're going to take the feet just a little bit wider now. Think nice and tall through the spine. A little bit of a knee bend. As you're bending your knees in this position, make sure your knees are going over the top of your toes. Okay, so don't let the knees drop in or stick out too wide. The knees are going to track over the top of your first and second toe. So all we're going to do from here, again, lengthen up through the spine. We're just going to squeeze through the glutes. You're going to do a little hip tilt and release. Okay, so from the side, we are from here. You're going to scoop under and then stick back. Okay, so this time, if your thumb and your finger were there, we are working to bring it together and apart. So we're just getting that flexion through the spine and some extension. So we're working from here. A little bit of a knee bend, so knee bend. So we've got that activation through the muscles as well. You're just hinging under, sticking the pelvis backwards. Okay, good. Just try and get as much movement as you can. If you've spent a lot of time sitting today, then the spine's going to be already compressed in this area. So this is a really nice movement just to open up through the spine. This and your shoulder bridges. If you spend lots of time sitting, these types of movements are the best things to do. Okay, find yourself halfway between fully tucked under and fully stuck out. Okay, find your way halfway between. As you're halfway between, there should be a little bit of work going on through your glutes now. If they're not, maybe take your feet just a little bit wider apart, or sink down a little bit more into your sort of sumo squat here. Okay, make sure that you're up nice and tall, chest is facing forward so you're not curved in with your shoulders, and just let your hands rest by your side. We're going to work through the legs. You're going to come up onto your tiptoe and lower it back down. Other side, up onto your tiptoe and lower it back down. Good. So as you're doing this, what you will notice is that you're, without having to cue, your core, so that deep transverse abdominis muscle has already started to engage and work now. You might not think it, but stick your fingers in there, you'll know something's switched on. So good, so coming right up onto your toes. If you want to make it a little bit more challenging, we're going up, up, down, down. Keep everything, so everything from here up doesn't move, only working through the hips. So up, up, down, down. Other side, up, up, down, down. It's a little bit mean as part of the warm up, isn't it? There we go. Up, up, down, down. Really squeeze through your glutes. So if you feel like it's working more through your hip flexors, it will. I'm not going to lie, these should be working now, but I want you to try and switch on through your bottom at the same time. If it's really not working, you feel like your glutes are not switched on, just try and just tuck under a tiny little bit more and see if that works. Here we go, last bit. Up, up, down, down. Right, gently bring yourself back up again. Perfect. Bring your feet in towards the center, hip width apart. I'm going to do a little bit of balance before we work down onto the mat. So for this one, take your weight very slightly over onto the leg you're going to balance on. Okay, bend your toes so you're nice and relaxed with the leg that you're going to lift. Think about your posture, so don't be looking down at your feet. Find something in front of you to look at. and stand up nice and tall, shoulders into back pockets and arms nice and heavy. You're just going to do a little draw in with your tummy button, so we're creating this sort of stability through the pelvis here, and as you breathe out we're going to bring that leg up. Okay, now we're working the stability through the ankle, through the pelvis, through the knee. This might be as far as we can go. If you can, try and take your leg out towards the side and you're switching on through your glutes at the same time. That's it, good. Draw the leg back round to the centre and pop back down. Okay, good. This is the prep. On to the other side. Get yourself nice and balanced on the leg you're going to stand on. Again, think about lengthening up through the spine, shoulders round into back pockets, just drawing through your tummy button a little bit. And when you're ready, bring your leg up to 90 degrees. Aim for 90 degrees. If it can't go to 90 degrees, don't worry. Just aim to get it as high as you can comfortably, keeping yourself nice and stable. And if you can, we're going to open the hips out. Watch your hips don't follow around, so hips stay facing forwards. Really switching on through that glute muscle there. Hold it. Good. And then draw it back around to centre and pop back down again. Okay. So that's the prep work, just to see if we could open through the hips and keep the hips facing forwards. If that felt quite enough, then you're going to stay there. Here's a couple of variations though. If you want to work a little bit harder, we're going to open up through the hips here and you're going to pulse. Squeeze, release, squeeze, release, squeeze, release. Try not to rotate. Nothing like this needs to happen because you've got to keep that knee facing forwards. If you want to go a little bit easier, rest your foot onto the knee and just... get my balance, and just think again, opening up through the hips, squeeze and release. So there's a couple of your variations. Get yourself balanced first of all. Think about that 90 degrees. Open the hip out if you can. If you can't get to opening the hip out or your hips feeling stiff, just go from here and you can just work on bringing the leg out and forwards if that works better for you. Work with whatever's working best. If we can get a little bit of a squeeze through the glutes, then that's pretty awesome. Otherwise, just think about opening it and just creating the movement. That's it. Good. Okay, and then swap over onto the other side. Get yourself balanced onto the other leg. Okay, toes nice and relaxed. When you're ready, your leg comes up to 90 degrees. Okay, if you can, open it out. And then you're going to squeeze and release. Squeeze and release. Easier version, stick your foot onto the leg. Squeeze and release, and then if you can't open the hips too much, then we are just extending the leg out, drawing it up, extending it out and drawing it up. So work with what's working for you. Keep your balance. I'm going to turn up there. Okay, perfect. Right, let yourself relax down there. Just walk through your ankles. Get them nice and relaxed. Okay, we're going to make our way down onto the mat. So stand towards the end of your mat. We're going to stand up nice and tall. We're going to go straight down into roll down onto all fours. So think about lengthening up through your spine. Shoulders round into back pockets. Draw in through your tummy button towards your spine. When you're ready, chin drops down towards your chest but doesn't touch your chest. And then you're going to start the movement working down through your spine, through the upper part of the back, through the middle part of your back, through the lower part of your back, and just keep working through the low part of your back until your hips start to rotate. Keep your arms nice and straight down in front of you. Don't worry if they don't touch the floor. Just bend your knees if you need to make your hands come onto the floor. Walk your hands forwards and we're coming onto all fours. Okay, so set up in your neutral position on all fours. Shoulders are above your wrists and hips are above your knees. Okay, we'll just work through the spine a little bit first of all. So just tuck your hips under and open up through the spine so you get that nice stretch through the spine, and then just sink down and open up through the hips, lift up through the chest. Good, draw under and lift. Nice breath in and breathe out as you sink down. Keep thinking nice and long through the neck. Watch your shoulders don't start to join you up by your ears. Last one, tuck up and then sink back down. Find yourself halfway so you've got a nice flat spine so you're not overarched and you're not sunk down, so we've got that nice flat position with the spine. And what we're going to do, we're going to work, let's work the hands first of all. So prep work. You're going to breathe out, lift a hand up as if you're going to slide a piece of paper underneath your hand, and then place it back down again. Opposite side, breathe out, lift, breathe in as you pop back down. So it's a very little movement. We're not sticking a ream of paper underneath there because that's going to make the shoulders tilt. All we're going to do is just imagine that a very small, or a single sheet of paper is going to go underneath your hand. So you're just very lightly taking the hand off. That way you can really think about the stability going on through the shoulder. So it's breathe out to lift, breathe in to pop back down. Opposite side, breathe out to lift, breathe in to put back down. So we shouldn't have any rocking and rolling going through the shoulders. Everything should be remain really stable through there. And you'll notice that as you lift your hand without having to cue again, your tummy button has drawn up towards your spine. Okay, and you haven't had to work to do that yourself. It's just naturally going to happen as you lift the hand. Okay, so that's the prep work. So what we're going to do now is when you lift one arm, so lift your hand, and I'm just going to get you to circle your arm round. So it's basically just skimming the mat. Okay, and you can start to draw it as wide as you can, but no movements happening through the shoulders. Your shoulders are staying level. So don't start to stretch too far out and let the shoulder drop, or go too far forward and let the shoulder come down. Just draw whatever circle you can. Good. And then place that hand back down again. We'll go on to the other side. Draw it up. And again, just very gently draw those circles. Imagine you're washing the floor. Nice circles over the top of the mat. There we go. Hold those shoulders nice and steady. Keep breathing. Don't hold your breath as you do this. And then place it back down again. Good. Right, come off your wrists if you're getting any pressure going on through there. Just rotate them out a little bit, because we're just going to do the knees as well now. So if this is a little bit too much on your hands, we can probably, you can probably do it down onto your elbows if you're struggling. So if you can, onto your hands. Another alternative with your hands is to just pop your hands as fists. I know some people really struggle with putting their hands flat onto the mat there, so you've got a couple of options of going into that position or coming down onto your elbows if you need to. So here we go with the knee. We're going to lift the knee and the foot up as if we're going to slide a piece of paper underneath. So breathe out, lift knee and foot, and place back down again. Breathe out, lift knee and foot, and place back down again. Okay, so our aim for this, certainly with the legs, it's a little bit more tempting to do this sort of rocking over with the hips. So really think about your tummy button having that sort of light torch or something coming straight down, and you're keeping keeping it shining in exactly the same spot each time. Good. So there we go. Perfect. So if you're really struggling with that, you can lift and lift if you want to come down onto your elbows. Because the next bit, again, we're going to try and draw a circle. So if you can, draw the leg up, and from here, see if you can draw a circle with the knee. A little bit more tricky with the legs, but see how you get on. Just draw that circle. So it's just skimming, your knees just skimming over the mat. And it doesn't have to be too big a circle, it's just basically underneath your hip there. Perfect. And pop down, go onto the other side. So draw the knee up first. And there we go, round in a circle. Good. And if it feels really easy, then just try and get your circle a little bit bigger. Perfect. Okay, good. Come off of your wrists, stretch your arms forwards, go down into that child pose stretch. So keep your bottom down onto your heels, keep stretching your arms forwards and lengthening your arms away. That's it. Keep lengthening. Stay with your bottom down onto your heels and walk your hands around to one side, so we're getting a nice lengthening through the side. Good, keep breathing. Don't hold your breath in any of these stretches. And then walk your hands round towards the other side. And lengthen those arms away again. Keep your bottom down if you can. If your knees are sore, you might need to come up, but see if you can keep your bottom down onto your heels. Good. Okay, and then come back to the center. So what we're going to do now, we're going to go all the way down onto your fronts. So lower yourself down so you're lying flat onto the mat here. Okay. So whenever we're lying flat on the mat, your forehead is going down onto the mat. Get yourself nice and comfortable. There we go. Okay. Neutral position on your tummy. Lift your tummy button up and push your pubic bone down into the mat. So we're just starting to switch on through the glutes. So if it was relaxed, and then we're going to tilt under, activate through the glutes. Lift your tummy button up. What I would like you to do is bring your arms straight out in front of you. Obviously you need to lift your head to just watch this bit. I'll show you first of all, and then I'm going to show you sitting up so you can see exactly what my arms are doing. It's going to go from here, arms are straight, and then you're going to draw your hands so your hands come along your side down, elbows into your side, and then bring your arms back up again. Okay, so essentially from the front, your arms are out straight, they're coming down into your sides here, and then lengthening up, so your hands are just skimming across the floor. So drawing your elbows down at the same time. I want you to really switch on your shoulder blade muscles and draw your shoulder blade down into your back pocket, and then release the arms as they go back up again. So you're really switching on these muscles down through the center parts next to your spine. So hands are sliding down, switching on, and then releasing as you go back. So it's important that as you're bringing your arms back, that you're allowing the muscles to switch off at the same time. So they're working, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze as you draw your arms in, and then release, release, release as your arms are going back up again. So breathe out, squeeze the arms down, really work your shoulder blades, squeeze, 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 and then release, release, release as you're letting your arms come back up again. That's it. Good. Let's just do 2 more. Really squeeze, squeeze, squeeze as they come down, and release, release, release as your arms go back up. Last one. Squeeze, lengthen your neck at the same time, and release as your arms go back. Perfect. Right, keep your arms straight in front of you. As you breathe out, you're going to lengthen and lift. Really lengthen away. Okay, we'll just prep through the shoulders, then we're going to bring straight away, we're going to bring legs and arms together. So forehead is still down onto the mat. Still lift up through your tummy button and push your pubic bone down into the mat. As you breathe out, lift one arm up, reach it away, breathe in as it comes back down. Opposite side, breathe out, lengthen and lift. Breathe in as it comes down. Breathe out, lengthen and lift. And breathe in as it comes down. One more on this side, breathe out, lengthen and lift, and release. Now, if you can keep your shoulders nice and steady as you're doing that, we're going to bring the legs in as well. So your focus for this is what's happening through your low back. Make sure you're still really engaging and pushing your pubic bone down into the mat, because what we don't want to do is as you lift your leg that we get this exaggerated arch for your low back. So squeeze through your bottom, push your pubic bone into the mat, and you're going to think as you lift your arm and your leg, so opposite arm, opposite leg, lengthen them away at the same time. So don't let them sort of collapse in. Really think about stretching your arm to the wall in front of you and your leg to the wall behind you. So breathe out, lengthen and lift, strong. Breathe in as it comes back. Breathe out, lengthen and lift. Breathe in as you come back. Good. Breathe out, lengthen and lift. Breathe in as it comes back. Couple more. Breathe out, lengthen and lift. Breathe in as you come back. Fantastic. Last couple. Breathe out, lengthen and lift. Breathe in as it comes back. Lengthen and lift. Just recheck in with the pelvis. Make sure that your tummy button's pulled up. Make sure your pubic bone's still pushed down into the mat. Finish up on the arm that you're doing. And just let your arms relax. I'm going to take you over onto your side. So, here we go. Onto your side. We're going to lie out nice and straight. Make sure when we're in our lying on our side position that your hips are stacked on top of each other. So you're not allowing it to roll forwards and you're not leaning back too far. So really think about lying on that kind of that knobbly bit of your hip here. So it's your called your greater trochanter, but that's the bit that needs to be pushing into the mat and thinking about the other one sitting directly on top of it. Okay, shoulders again, stacked on top of each other. For this exercise, you're going to allow your hand just to rest in front of you. Okay, we're going to easy level, keep the bottom knee bent, top leg straight. Hard level, if you need a bit more of a challenge, both legs go straight. Okay, so keeping it nice and simple with the bottom leg bent for me, we're going to pop that hand just to relax here. The hand that's on the mat, I want you to push into the mat a little bit so you can feel the muscle starting to connect through your shoulders. What we're going to do for the first bit is just breathe out, lengthen the leg up, and breathe in and lower it down. Okay, and all you're doing is as you push your leg up, really connect with the mat with the hand in front of you. So you've got that, you'll notice the more you push your hand into the mat, the more this is starting to switch on. Okay, relax. Breathe out, lift. Breathe in and relax. You can relax your hand as you come down, relax the leg. Breathe out, lift. Push into the mat, push the leg up. Breathe in, come back down. Good. A couple more. Breathe out, lift. Breathe in as you come back down and relax everything. Last one like this. Breathe out, lift. And breathe in as it comes back down. Okay, good. Keep this hand connection at the front. Lift your top leg so that it is hip width apart. Okay, and what we're going to do now is as you breathe out, you're going to bend your knee and skim it up towards you. And breathe out. Actually, let's get the breathing right. Let's breathe out as you draw it up and breathe in as you stretch it back. Okay, it's a trickier breathing. Breathe out as it comes in. That's it, and then straighten the leg out. So what's happening is as you draw your leg forwards, naturally you want to collapse in and that top hip wants to draw forwards. All you're going to work on is keeping your hips stacked on top of each other. So for some of you, that might mean that all you're doing is just a little knee bend and then straighten again. You might be able to get the whole way forwards and then straighten it back again. But use this hand there to create that connection. So the more you're pushing into the mat, the more we're drawing in and activating through, basically through the upper and the lower core. That's it. Now, as you're doing this, doesn't matter whether the bottom leg is bent or straight, watch that you're not pushing this bottom leg into the mat too much. You can have a little bit of a connection, so the same as your hand touching here, you can have a little bit of connection with that bottom leg, so a little bit of a draw in, and you'll notice as you push that bottom leg into the mat a little bit more, you'll switch on your glutes a little bit. Okay, but not too much. Okay, last one. Draw it forwards. It's probably starting to burn through your hip flexors now. Lower that leg down. That's it. And you'll probably feel it quite a bit through the hip flexors there. Your glutes definitely should be starting to fire up as well. And let's just give the legs a little bit of a rest. So we can stay on your side. Let's bring the knees up and we'll do some mobility through the spine. For this one, if you've got a pillow, pop your pillow. You can grab a pillow and pop your head here. If not, you can do the same thing. You can do it with your arm out, or you might even want to do it with your arm on your pillow, but we're going to put the arm straight in front of you. Okay, so again, just watch you haven't sort of collapsed in. Keep those hips stacked on top of each other. Keep your shoulders stacked on top of each other. Draw in a little bit with your tummy button, so you're creating that stability belt through there. And what we're going to do is start to draw a circle around your body. So take your arm back. We're going to look at spinal mobility this time. So for this one, we're allowing your spine to twist. So as you do this, you might be able to keep your hand in contact with the floor. You can open up a little bit through the hips, but you're not letting it collapse and roll right back, okay? So we can go from this sort of neutral position to the very slightly back, not too much movement. But what we are allowing to move is the spine and the shoulder. Circle it all the way around, across your body to the start again. Lengthen your arm away, stretch it all the way up and round and work. Try and keep your hand as close to the floor as you can. Don't worry if it doesn't touch the floor, don't force it, but you'll get a really nice opening through your pec muscles. So again, if you've been hunched over a desk all day, it'll be a really nice stretch and opening up through the chest. Let's do one more circle. Stretch and rotate it round, roll that shoulder back and scoop it over and across. Perfect. Okay, spin over onto the other side. Get yourself nice and comfortable onto the other side. Okay, so arm out straight if you need for this first position. Think about your shoulders being stacked, think about your hips being stacked, so get in the right position before we go anywhere. A little bit of drawing with the tummy button. Easy version knee bent, harder version legs out straight. Go with whatever you feel you want to work on. What we're going to do, this front hand or the top arm, push it into the mat, so it's just around chest level. You're just going to push your hand into the mat. Breathe out, lengthen the leg up. Breathe in as it comes back down again. Breathe out to lift, breathe in to lower back down. Breathe out to lift, breathe in to lower back down. Perfect. Good. Really work. So the more you push with your hand, so the lift of the leg, push in with your hand, and then release the tension through your hand as you lower the leg back down. So we're really getting that strong connection through the core. So of course we've got a core through our chest, we've got a core through our pelvis. In Pilates we really talk a lot about the pelvis core, but less of talk about the upper core, but they're both as important. Okay, last one. Breathe out as you lift, breathe in as you lower back down again. Perfect. So lift the top leg now so it is hip width apart. Okay, from here you're going to breathe out as you bend your knee and draw it towards you. You might start to feel like you're rolling forward, so use the hand to push into the mat to make sure the hips don't come with you. And then breathe in, lengthen the leg back out again. So breathe in. No, sorry, I've said that all wrong. So breathe out, bring your knee forwards, and breathe in as it lengthens back. Breathe out. Breathe in. Good. Really look at keeping that top hip stacked on top of the bottom hip. It's really tempting to roll forwards as you do this, but just keep that control. So the more I bend the knee, the more I'm needing to push this hand into the mat, and I can really feel my abdominals switching on there. Let's just do a couple more. Okay, don't worry how far your knee bends. If you're just doing a very tiny sweep forward of the leg, that's absolutely fine. As long as you're working and you can feel something switching on through here, that's fine. It's not about how far you move with this exercise, it's about making sure you're switching on the muscles. Let's finish up with this one. There we go, and lower the leg down. Just give it a little bit of a rub, get the blood supply back in those bits of the muscles we've been working. So you've probably worked quite a bit through your hip flexors, and then a little bit of a switch on through the glutes there. Okay, grab your pillow if you've got one, or just get nice and comfortable on your arm. Otherwise, so you can do this one with your arm out there and do the same movement as we're from here. But if you've got your pillow, put the bottom arm out straight. So here we go. Stretch, lengthen your hands away. Imagine you are drawing a circle in the sand around your body. So spiral it out. Allow your shoulder to drop back. Your hip will go a little bit, it's a little bit tighter on this side. So you will notice potentially a little bit of a difference. Okay, just don't be tempted to let the hip go all the way over. It's allowed a little bit of movement. There we go. So we definitely can't keep in contact with the floor as much on this side, but that's fine, because each time you do it, you're going to work to get a little bit closer towards the floor as you do it. Let's do one more circle. We'll get that nice relax and release through the spine. There we go. And rotate it around. Perfect. Okay, let's take you over onto your backs. Okay, get yourself comfortable in a nice neutral position. Okay, feet are hip width apart, shoulders are nice and relaxed, and just be very aware of where your spine is onto the mat. Okay, so think about there needing to be that little bit of an archway between the low part of your back So if you can feel that your whole spine is making contact with the mat, maybe just a little bit of a tilt of the pelvis, just to lift very slightly that middle part of your low back, just away from the mat. Okay, get yourself in that nice neutral position. We'll just do a little bit of prep work. We're going to do opposite arm, opposite leg straight away. Keep your foot nice and low to the ground. Lengthen your foot away, stretch the arm away. So you're breathing out, lengthen everything away, breathe in as it draws back. Opposite side, breathe out, lengthen everything away, breathe in as it comes back. Breathe out to lengthen, and breathe in as it comes back. Good. So as you're doing this, just connect with your breathing. Breathe out to lengthen. Breathe in as it comes back. You're watching your shoulders don't sneak up towards your neck. So think about lengthening through the neck. And think about reaching. So it's a nice stretch through the body as well. So you're pushing your foot towards the wall opposite and your hand towards the wall behind you. Good. One more on each side, lengthening everything away. Perfect. Okay, and rest back in that nice neutral position. Okay, let your shoulders just think about sinking into the mat. Let your hips think about sinking into the mat. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to do some little foot hovers before we lift the leg fully up into coffee table. So what you're going to do is take one foot and come up onto tiptoes. Okay, so you've still got connection with the mat, but just with your tiptoes. So from here, I want you to imagine you were about to lift your leg. Okay, so use your imagination and think about lifting the foot off, and take it to the point where you're imagining you are just about to lift, and take note what's happening through these muscles through the lower part of your pelvis. You should be feeling that they're starting to switch on, even though you haven't lifted your foot yet. So take it to that point first. Take it to that imagination. When you've gone as far as you can and you think any more imagination on my foot is going to lift, just let it float up onto coffee table. Okay, and then place it back down again. Let's go with the other foot. Go onto tiptoes. Imagine you're about to lift. Keep imagining and be aware of switching the muscles on. So imagine you're going right to that point just about before you lift. And if you imagined it anymore, your foot is going to start to raise and rest on coffee table. Okay, so this is a nice way just to make sure that you really are engaging through the core muscles. And as you do this, so we're going to repeat it a few more times. I want you to be, before you lift, really imagine what's happening through here. So the stomach should stay nice and flat. Okay, so your lower abdominal should stay nice and flat. What they're not doing is bulging out. If you're finding you're having to bulge the muscles, then it's not quite ready. It's not quite time for you to lift the leg all the way up. Then all you're going to do is just stick with the toes. So a couple more just with the single leg, and then we're going to use that imagination as we go for the second leg as well. So imagine first. You can speed it up a little bit more. Depends how good your imagination is. Onto your tiptoes. Really imagine lifting the leg and then just let it float up. Finish up on the other leg now. On tiptoes. Imagine, engage and lift. And lower the leg back down again. Okay, so now what we're going to do, take one leg up onto coffee table. Okay, watch you've still got that nice neutral spine through the low part of your back. You're going to come onto tiptoes of that second leg. Okay, and you're going to imagine that you're about to lift the leg. This way, you're going to know whether you will need to recruit extra muscles or whether your tummy's going to, your lower abdominals are going to start to bulge. So I know now that I can draw in, and I know that as I lift that second leg, that I'll be able to maintain that. But if your imagination is telling you, no, that as I do that, what I'm going to do is overarch, or I'm going to blow my tummy forwards in order to recruit everything to lift it, then all you're going to do is just stick with the heel up and then lower back down and pop the foot back down again. Okay, so work with that prepping and imagination as you go onto the other leg. So leg onto coffee table, up onto your tiptoes, imagine you're about to lift it, keep drawing in with your tummy, and then place the leg back down, one leg down, second leg down. Perfect. Okay, so if you know you can remain nice and strong through there, then fine, stick with double legs. If you feel like you are arching your back, or if there's any pain, discomfort through your back, then just stick to the tiptoes. Let's just do a couple more of those. We're going one leg up, draw in, keep nice and strong, leg up, lower down, lower down, swap to the other side. Make sure you alternate the legs as you do this. Perfect. Down, down. Here we go. Up, up, down, down. Keep that back in the neutral position. Watch you don't arch. There we go. Okay. So if you can, if you are able to get back up to double legs, here we go. Go into this position. If you can't, you can still do everything we're about to do with single leg. Okay, so from here, we're going to lengthen one leg away and lower it down towards the ground and draw it all the way back up again. Okay, so now we're asking the back to stay nice and stable as you're creating movement through the hips. So we're watching that the hips don't start to turn and roll with you. Okay, if you're single leg, it's fine. Just lengthen the leg down and draw it back up again. And you can do a few on one leg before you swap over onto the other side. If you've got both legs up, we're alternating the legs. So lengthen it down, draw it back up. Breathe out, blow the leg away. Breathe in, draw it back in again. Breathe out, lengthen and lower. Okay, now you're in control. If you're noticing that as you lower your leg down, actually that's creating quite a bit of tension through your low back, then all you need to do is just straighten the leg up towards the ceiling and then bring it back in. Through with the other leg. The lower you take your leg, the harder you have to work, the more your muscles you have to recruit in order to remain stable. Okay, last few. Here we go. Breathe out, lengthen. Breathe in, draw it back. Pop the legs down, one, then the other. Take yourself into a full body stretch. Lengthen away, really push your toes away. Keep lengthening through there. Perfect. Come back into that nice neutral position. So feet are hip width apart. Arms are nice and relaxed onto the mat. So from here, we're going to do a couple of shoulder bridges. So rotate through your hips, push your spine into the mat. When you've gone as far as you can and your back is flat against the floor through here, squeeze through your glutes. So they should switch on. It's your glutes, so it's your bottom muscles that peel your spine up and away from the mat. And again, don't worry how high you go. If you're quite stiff through your back today, you might not be able to lift too high, but just go with what feels right for you. And then on the way back down, really concentrate on placing one after the other. Place the bones back down onto the mat. When your bottom reaches the mat, just tilt it back to neutral. Oh, there we go. Okay, so rotate through the hips, squeeze through your glutes, peel up. And then one by one, place the spine back down. Really roll through the low part of your back and place your pelvis onto the mat before you let your glutes release and tilt back to neutral. Okay, last one like this. Then we're going to start to bring the arms in as well. So come all the way up to where you're comfortable and then roll back down through the spine and place your pelvis down, tilt back to neutral. Okay, now we're going to bring the arms in. So let's do it this way. So as you peel up, tilt your pelvis back towards you. As you start to squeeze through your glutes, at the same time, your arms are going to come up towards the ceiling. When you come up as far as you can with your glutes, your arms are going to continue to rest on the floor behind you. Okay, now on the way down, your arms are going to circle along the floor and round towards your side as you place your spine back down. So you're aiming that your pelvis meets the floor at the same time as your hands come down towards your side, and then rotate your pelvis back to neutral. So you need to be nice and slow with the arms so we're controlling the movement through the shoulder blades. So here we go. Tilt the pelvis backwards, squeeze through the glutes. At the same time as your glutes start to peel up and away, your arms are coming up towards the ceiling. Keep squeezing through your glutes. Lift your hips as high as you can. And then your arms are continuing onto the floor behind you. And as your arms start to circle round, you're placing your spine back down one by one. Draw your shoulder blades down into your back pocket so you've got that engagement of the upper core. Arms, hands nice and relaxed. And they're going to come down towards your side just as your pelvis meets the mat. And then you can tilt your pelvis back to neutral and release the glutes. Here we go, 2 more of those. Tilt, squeeze your glutes. Here we go, arms and spine are peeling up and away from the mat. Arms are raising up over your head. and lowering your arm down towards the floor behind you, and then circle the arms around as you control the movement of your spine one by one, back down onto the mat, and tilt the pelvis back to neutral. Here we go, last one. Tilt your pelvis, squeeze your glutes, peel away, arms are coming up, everything's raising and lengthening. Stretch right through to your fingertips as you lengthen away. Circle your arms round, spine is coming down one by one as you circle your arms round. Lengthen your arms as much as you can so you get that stretch through your shoulders. Pelvis is back to the mat. Release your glutes, tilt back to neutral. Perfect. Draw your knees in towards your chest and draw a few circles around with your knees. Perfect. And opposite direction. Good. Okay, pop your legs back down into neutral. See how we are. I have no clock in here, so I have to just keep checking the phone today. That mad rush at the beginning. Right, so here we go. Last little bit of work before we do some stretches to finish. You are going to raise one leg up onto coffee table. You're going to lengthen it all the way away from you. Lengthen your toes. From here, now pull your toes up towards your head, so you're pushing your heel away to the wall in front of you. And we're going to sweep the leg out towards the side. So we're now switching the side part of your glute on. So sweep the leg out as far as you're comfortable, and then sweep it back in. Relax your ankle, bring your leg back to coffee table. Let's stick with the same leg. We're going to do 5 on each side. So you're going to lengthen the leg away, lower it down towards the floor. Pull your toes up towards your head so you're pushing your heel away, and sweep the leg out and sweep it back in again and draw it back up. If it's feeling like it's too easy, come up onto your tiptoes of the second leg so we get a little bit more of engagement through the abdominals. Lower your leg down. Squeeze your glutes as you're taking it out to the side. Watch the other knee doesn't start to join in. It needs to stay facing up towards the ceiling. That's it. Draw it back in. You've got 2 more on this side. So lengthen the leg away. Draw your heel towards the wall. Sweep out and draw back again. Okay, keep the ribs nice and relaxed. Here we go. Last one with this leg. Breathe out, lengthen the leg away. Draw your toes up towards you. Sweep the leg out. Just go a little bit further this time. Really squeeze and then sweep it back round. Draw it back up to coffee table and place that leg down. Okay, other leg. When you're ready, get your neutral position, check you're in good position, shoulders nice and relaxed, the leg comes up to coffee table. Lengthen it away as you lower it down towards the ground. Draw your toes up towards your head, sweep the leg out towards the side, squeeze your glutes and sweep it back into the center. Draw the leg back up onto coffee table and place it back down again. Okay, here we go. If you want a little bit more work, onto tiptoes of the second leg. Okay, so we're just getting a little bit more engagement through there. Here we go. Lengthen the leg away. Draw your heels up, out towards the wall. Sweep out. Sweep back to the center. Draw it back up to coffee table. 3 more. Lengthen the leg. Breathe out. Draw your toes up. Sweep the leg out. Sweep it back in. Back up to coffee table. Breathe out, lengthen it away. Draw your toes up towards the ceiling. Sweep it out. See if you can get a little bit further this time. Sweep it back in. Relax your ankle as it comes back up to coffee table. Good. Lengthen. Push your heel away. Sweep the hip out. Watch the other knee doesn't join in. Sweep it back. Coffee table. Last one. Breathe out, lengthen it away. Draw your toes up. Sweep it out. Sweep it in. Draw it back up to coffee table and place back down again. Do whatever feels good for your back. So you might want to do knees into chest and draw some circles. You might want to go into full body stretch. So do whatever feels right for you at the moment and lengthen everything away if you're in full body stretch. And if you're doing knees to chest, make sure you change directions now and go in the other direction for that. Okay, very gently, just bring yourselves up to sitting. we're going to do 2 more exercises to mobilize through the spine to finish. So if you can, sit into this this position with one knee tucked in front of you, the other knee tucked behind. If you can't, sit cross-legged. If it's still quite uncomfortable, go up onto a pillow, so lift your bottom up a little bit higher. So if you can go into this position, go for it. We're going to lift both arms up towards the ceiling. Okay, you're going to twist away from the leg that's tucked behind you to start off with, and then stretch as if you're coming down towards the floor. So we're coming right into this lengthened position. Okay, hold the position here. Just work with your breathing. Breathe in as you hold it. Breathe out, see if you can sink down. Breathe in to hold. Breathe out, sink down. Breathe in to hold. Breathe out to sink down. Now keep your hands together and really push, 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 as you sweep your hands across towards the other side. So as you come across here, we're now getting a little bit more of a stretch through the adductor through there. And just work with it. If it's uncomfortable, come out, so bring your hands towards you a little bit. But if you can stay as low down to the ground as you can to get the stretch, breathe in to hold, breathe out as you sink down. Breathe in to hold, breathe out as you sink down. Breathe in to hold, breathe out as you sink down, and then very gently, as in the next in-breath, just walk your hands up towards you so you come back up to sitting. Perfect. See if you can swing your legs round into the other side. Okay, so again, tuck that leg behind you. If you really can't do it, then try it cross-legged or sit up onto a few pillows if you need to. Stretch your arms, lengthen towards the ceiling. Okay, twist your hips towards the knee that is in front of you, or the leg that's in front of you, and you're going to lengthen forward. So really stretch, stretch, stretch. Lower yourself down towards the ground. So you get a nice stretch through your glutes on this side. Just be careful. If you've got any pain in your groin, then ease off. Don't put any pressure down through that. Some people, if your hips are not great, then it might be a little uncomfortable. If anybody's really struggling with this one, I obviously can't see too well if you are, but if you are, get in contact and I'll show you a different way to do this stretch. Okay, so keep lengthening. Breathe in to hold, breathe out, soften down. Breathe in to hold, breathe out, soften down. Breathe in to hold, last one. Breathe out, sink down into it if you can. And then keep your hands together, keep pushing them away from you, sweep them across the floor in front of you, coming round to the other side, if you can. There we go. So we're getting that stretch. It's really quite a strong stretch through your adductor there, so don't go too far. If it feels really uncomfortable, don't overstretch it. Keep pushing your hands away from you and leaning forwards here. Breathe in to hold. Breathe out as you soften down. Breathe in to hold. Breathe out, soften down. Breathe in to hold. Breathe out, and then on the next bit, walk your hands in towards you to come back up to sitting. We're going to untangle your legs and get you back onto all fours. Okay. So we're going to make this exercise into more of a stretch, a mobility stretch. If you did stretch and release on Friday, this is the stretch we did then. We're going to do, drawing your shoulder blades into your back pocket, take one arm away from you, opposite leg away from you. You're going to hold that position, okay? Really think about lengthening. Push your hand as far away from you as you can. Push your leg as far away as you can. Okay, now from here, you're going to bring your knee and your elbow in towards each other, towards the midline. At the same time, tuck up through your pelvis and really arch your spine up towards the ceiling. So you're tucking right up. Breathe out, lengthen everything away. Breathe in, elbow and knee come together, really arch up through the spine. Breathe out, lengthen. So it's a nice strength move, but really good for stretching and mobilizing. Here we go, all the way up. Let's do one more. Lengthen away. And knee and elbow come towards you, arch up through the spine, really, really hunch up through the back so you're getting that stretch through there. Last one, reach out, hand and knee down. Let's go on to the opposite side. Lengthen the arm away, lengthen the leg away, really stretch. Okay, keep your neck nice and relaxed. Here we go, knee and elbow come in towards each other. At the same time, you arch up through your back. And breathe out, lengthen. Breathe in, draw everything in. Arch up through the back. And breathe out, lengthen. Breathe in, elbow and knee together or towards each other. Arch through the back. Lengthen everything away. Stretch to the wall. Push your foot towards the wall behind you. Last one. Elbow and knee come in towards each other. Really arch up through the spine. And lengthen everything away again. Super. Hand and knee go down. Tuck your toes under. Let's get you up into that down dog position and just walk through your calf muscles. Perfect. Walk your hands towards your feet towards your hands, and come back up to standing. There we go. Perfect. Okay, let's just circle through the shoulders. Good. Take a nice deep breath in, arms come up, and breathe out as you come down. Breathe in, stretch the arms up. Breathe out. Breathe in. Lift and breathe out. Come away from my light there. Onto your tiptoes. Breathe in, come up to your tiptoes. Breathe out as you come down. Breathe in, come all the way up. Squeeze your glutes, squeeze your shoulders. Breathe out, come down. Breathe in, shoulders engaged, glutes engaged, and relax through. Full body swings, we've got 3. So come all the way up. Bend your knees, sweep your arms through, push up, hold. Squeeze your shoulders, squeeze your glutes. Relax, relax your shoulders, relax your glutes. Swing your arms through. Oh. Hold your balance, come up tall. Last one, biggest swing you can, really go for it. Throw the arms through, stretch, hold the balance at the top, strength through the ankles. Relax your feet, relax your shoulders, relax your arms. There we go. Well done, everybody. Hopefully you enjoyed that. I will be back with this class next week. We've still got band class at 9:30 on Saturday. We've got myofascial release on Saturday, just after the band class. And again, I'll be with you Sunday evening at 7 to do the Pilates Sunday evening, which again is a nice gentler class. So hopefully I will see you all at those ones. The classes for next week are going up on the timetable tonight, hopefully. So if you look on the members page that you've still got access to, there will still be classes going on. They're going to be available to everybody. So just jump on, come and join in with us. It will be good to see you all. So hopefully I will see you Saturday morning. Thanks, guys.